Whether it's two fan bases frothing at the mouth in a comment section, or a pro shitting on his former org on Twitter, there's plenty of spicy feuds in esports to go around. And look, people love to hate, and it can be cathartic, so long as you don't let it consume you. But most of the people on today's list let their animosity get the better of them. Seeing pros talk smack in the server is always a fun time, but what about those moments they let their dirty laundry get aired for everyone to see? Before that, I want to ask you guys to sub to the channel and turn on notifications, and also don't forget we go live on YouTube now, so if you can, check us out there. Alright, let's get into it. The spiciest feuds in esports. Kicking off this list is one of the most well-publicized feuds in League of Legends history. I'm of course referring to Doublelift versus Reggie.
Every split I'm on TSM we win and still, like, get treated like that. It's just disgusting. It would be a personal pleasure of mine to see TSM never win anything again.
Sometime after Doublelift retired from League, he called up the owner of his former org and expressed interest in playing again since LPL support Sword Art was set to join the team. But apparently Reggie just wasn't interested, and almost a year later, Doublelift would recount the story on a live stream.
I called Andy and told him, yeah, Sword Art still wants to play with me, and I would love to, you know, continue to play for the org, and Andy literally said no because he's got too much of an ego.
Reggie shared his side of the story on Reddit, while also adding a few personal jabs against Doublelift as a person. And things didn't stop there. Doublelift went live again, but this time things got much more serious as he accused Reggie of emotionally abusing people who worked for him.
I feel bad saying this about people, but I don't think it's too personal. He made so many players cry. So many players.
Riot launched an investigation into these accusations, and eventually they ordered Reggie to undergo mandatory sensitivity training. As for Doublelift, well, now he just likes to revel in any and all misfortunes that come TSM's way. Up next is the year-long legal battle between Tifu and FaZe clan.
I'm sorry guys, I'm flustered, man. Like, I have this kid's name tattooed on my leg. Like, imagine how dumb I feel right now.
The Tifu and FaZe feud started way back in 2018 when Tifu's lawyers attempted to get his contract with the org terminated. FaZe clan decided to not honor that request, and the org was then sued by Tifu and his lawyers. The lawsuit essentially claimed that Tifu's contract was unfair and even predatory. Owner and founder FaZe Banks, who has had his fair share of media snafus, went on a rampage, firing back at anyone and everyone who cared to tune in.
Dude, I changed your life. You can never, ever dispute that. This whole lawsuit thing, this whole blow up. I know this wasn't aimed at me, but this is me. I am FaZe clan.
FaZe then countersued Tifu for a bunch of other shit, making the whole situation even messier. The whole ordeal shined a really negative light on FaZe clan, and remember, all Tifu originally wanted was just to get out of his contract. But hey, I'm glad things shook out the way they did, since it also gave us one of, if not the greatest call-out videos in the history of gaming.
But FaZe clan, please release the contract. Just give me permission to show these people the truth that is within this contract. Show the f***ing contract, FaZe.
Gamers love to argue about basically everything, but right now the most toxic debate revolves around mouse and keyboard users versus controller players.
Aim assist is just so great. Bro, like nowadays in COD, like they took out so much of the skill of aiming with like controller, with dynamic aim assist. It's actually like, dude, you don't even have to aim anymore, like not even trolling.
Back in the day, people used to fight over which console was superior, but as gaming PCs became more popular and crossplay was introduced into more games, aim assist reared its ugly head.
And then just, oh my god! The aim assist in this game is disgusting!
Since it's harder to be precise when aiming with an analog stick, those on controllers have aim assist, which helps them target their enemies. And because aiming with a mouse is inherently easier, during crossplay, console players get to keep this advantageous mechanic to help level the playing field. Not surprisingly, many mouse and keyboard players feel that aim assist has gotten so out of hand that it's more than just an unfair advantage, but rather straight up cheating.
Oh my, what? It just auto, I didn't do anything!
Now, let's reflect on everyone's favorite esports soap opera, the French CS scene and their seemingly never-ending internal conflicts.
I swear I just heard someone smack their desk through my headphones all the way up here. I'm pretty sure Kenny just drop-kicked his desk out of frustration.
France has produced some of CSGO's greatest talents. There was even a time where some of these teams were able to call themselves kings.
Envy winning the last major of 2015 and the second title in a row here for three of these players. The first for Penny and Apex. What a victory.
But unfortunately, all that former glory came at a cost. Behind the scenes, things were a mess. There were players who refused to work with one another, incredible levels of toxicity, and definitely some overinflated egos. All of those things combined resulted in what we call the French shuffles. And even though that happened some time ago, it still feels like the region has never fully cleaned up its act.
Come on, man, let's go, please! Hello! Hello! Hello, guys, how are you today?
Alright, we're about halfway through this list, so I think it's fine time that we dipped into the well that holds some of the greatest feuds in esports history, Call of Duty. And more specifically, Aches versus Optic.
Take something away from it.
Everybody knows about the iconic beef between Scump and Crimsix, but only real ones will know that it was Ache's career-spanning feud with Optic that made him the true villain of Call of Duty. You see, historically, Aches always performed well against Optic, and it got to the point where many people considered him their kryptonite. And Aches was more than happy to take on that role. It also helped that he already had some bad blood with one of their most prolific players, Nadeshot.
The World Championships coming out, biggest event of the year. Definitely something I want to get my second ring in. You know, I'd have 2 more than Nadeshot.
Hell, his beef wasn't even just with Optic. Aches has always been willing to take on the entire scene, including the fans.
You can go all night, guys. You can't shake the vet. You can't shake the vet.
At the end of the day, I'm going back to LA. They got to stay in Minnesota. I'm not too worried about it.
Oh, all right.
Aches retired a few years ago, and while he had declined from his glory days, he'll forever be the monster that lives under every Optic fanboy's bed. Some feuds revolve around pros, rival fan bases, sometimes entire companies, but the drama I'm talking about right now involves all 3. I'm referring to one of the most divisive topics in esports, CSGO versus Valorant.
Why do you think we're all playing?
We're getting ready.
I think we're playing this for fun. This game isn't fun.
The beef between the two games feels like a tale as old as time, and that's because it is. And hey, some healthy competition never hurt anyone. But considering just how similar Riot's TAC FPS seemed to CSGO, fans of the latter got a little, shall we say, protective of their old favorite.
You gave up on Valorant?
I'm expecting it.
I uninstalled Valorant. Literally, dog game.
Valorant clapped back by luring away some of CSGO's biggest personalities, and it did so by providing them something CS never really did: content.
Do not play CS anymore. I do off stream. I don't play as much as I used to. It's just because like Valorant's like new and exciting, and it gets me like turned on and shit when I play. CS, like, it's the easiest way for me to lose my erection these days.
But whether you're a CSGO boomer or a Valorant kiddie, it's hard to deny that both games are great in their own right, and you should just let people play whatever they like in peace. But who am I kidding? You're just gonna keep calling the other one a dead game in whatever Twitch chat you're in. Stewie 2K has always been known as pretty hot-blooded.
Yeah, that is...
Coull, how mad are you right now?
But it was his recent debacle with the EG coaching staff that really called his professionalism into question. You see, Stu's time on EG was kind of already a disaster. Their results were dismal, they barely qualified for anything worthwhile, and to top it all off, they had to resort to a rotating 15-man roster. But things really came to a head when a former member of EG's coaching staff did a tell-all with a French news outlet and pinned many of the problems in the EG camp on Stu.
The general claim, of course, is that the environment that Stu created was so hostile and unproductive and unprofessional that neither Malik nor Evie were able to implement the very infrastructure they were brought in to implement.
Stu fired back on Twitter and eventually did a stream of his own where he shared his side of things. There was some finger pointing, but to his credit, Stu took accountability for a lot of the accusations. He honestly seemed more upset that these private matters were made so public.
After reading all of this, like, when the relationship between me and Evie was never even like this, like, it just, for me, shows, like, he really came out of his way just to, like, it's all me. Like, this is all me. This is all me. Like, all the shit on me. And, like, you don't think I know that? Like, you don't think I failed the project? You don't think I failed being a captain? You don't think I know any of that?
Our final entry on this list is the heartbreaking feud between Fly and No-Tail.
We spent 8 years together, and now it's over.
Fly and No-Tail were once like brothers. They built an org together, won tournaments, and poured their entire lives into Dota 2. But one day, everything changed.
Well, we just got called into a room, and I learned that the 2 players are leaving, and one of them's my best friend.
Fly decided that he needed to do what was best for his career, and it did not include No-Tail. No-Tail was crushed. He felt heartbroken and betrayed by a man that he thought was his best friend. But things didn't end there. As fate would have it, the two met again on Dota 2's biggest stage at TI8, and No-Tail rose up, defeating his former friend's new team.
OG looking to close things up. They're onto the Ancient. They're beating it down at a pace that he can't compare to. GG is Coull. OG win the series 2-1.
But winning wasn't enough. No-Tail was still hurt, and he wanted Fly to know that.
To stick through it after dealing with such adversity as 90.
Oh, the look there from No-Tail.
Well, folks, that's all we got for today. Let us know in the comments if you think we left any feuds off this list, or if you partake in any yourselves. Just remember that hate kills and love wins. And if you're going to talk try to keep it inside the server. I feel like if I try to read it like it's a good joke, it's gonna be even more cringe than it already is. Like when I'm just like, but who are you? You're gonna keep doing that. You're gonna keep going in